if they're not on the same page, and Nylander's going to have to decide, is he willing to sign something shorter, to bet on himself, to hit a big, take a big shot in a year or two? Is he willing to do that? Or does he need something longer? Because if he needs something longer and the team just doesn't see it right now for him, and there's so many complications in Toronto with all the talent that they have to try and make fit, and you're going to take Marleau off the books in 2 years, and to make it all fit like that, I don't think it's easy when there's no emotion. It's easy when it's not you, but it's not easy when you're sitting there and you're like, wait a minute, I saw that guy sign with Team X and that guy signed with Team Y. I want 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure he looks at Elias Lindholm's contract and says, seriously,
that's a 17-goal scorer in Lindholm.
Right. Are we even considering that? Like, come on. And so what did Lindholm get? 6 years, right? So if I'm Nylander, I'm looking at that and saying, hello, let's not be fiddling around here with much other difference than that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just
he's definitely a better player.
Well, but
right, and that's the latest restricted free agent, I believe, that's signed, of kind of that age and that that number of games and such.
What was Lindholm's number, Ray? Is
485.
485. So if I'm Nylander, that's 6 years for Lindholm. So I'm looking at, so it's roughly 6 years, just under 30. So if I'm Nylander, I'm a better player. So do we not look at that and kind of work off that framework? That's what I would think, in a like an overview anyway.
Well, Dubas sat down with Bob McKenzie today, and it's up on tsn.ca, and I made note of Dubas mentioning that he would like to see these guys play their whole careers here in Toronto, which may be an empty calories comment, but he doesn't have to say that, and he wouldn't say that about Kasperi Kapanen or Carl Grundstrom or even Hyman or Brown. I mean, I think him speaking highly of these players is not a surprise, but the fact that he go on the record and say that, it's got to be gratifying for the players. Does it mean anything to you? Does it affect the way you feel like the Leafs are going to negotiate with these guys? Because Dubas also told Bob that, don't hold your breath on Matthews and or Marner signing an extension before the start of the season either.
The only way it matters to me, I think, Brian, is that, as they talk about the manipulation of the cap and how you have to, they have to project where the cap's going to go, what the revenues are going to do, how are they going to fit players in. Eventually, you need to sign other defensemen. You're going to have to. Eventually, Jake Gardner's an issue for next year. So how do you make it all fit? Well, one of the ways you do is you stretch a younger guy out early and get him at a lower cap hit. And you're right. They wouldn't necessarily do that with Hyman or Brown or Kapanen or a number of other players. But can they do that with somebody like Nylander? Can they go longer, smaller cap hit? Whatever smaller cap hit really means. I guess in theory they did it with Zaitsev. They signed him forever. And last year was it wasn't even a slump because
for him.
It was terrible.
Yeah, he was terrible at times.
Because it was his second year. We don't even really know what he is. But they took the bet and they got him at $4 million, and they were comfortable enough at the time to say, well, that's 7 years. Well, would they do something like that with Nylander? I get the feeling Marner's the type of guy that would bet on himself. Matthews as well. Like, I think they've got the F you on their shoulder that I'm good enough. I'll put up a big year. Why do I have to worry about it? And then I'll just push everything in, all the chips into your court and see what you want to do with it. Because they just seem like, and I wouldn't have been that way. So I say that with like kind of an admiration that they believe in themselves in that way. That they would say, yeah, I'll just play the last year of my deal out. What do I care? Take some insurance out. I'm going to put a big year up, and then you're going to really have to pay.